Hello, everybody. How are you? Hope you're doing okay and enjoying the weekend. I'm enjoying the weekend and I'm excited to be here. Welcome to the Aidoo show, the show that aims to bring you hope, joy, and inspiration. Our aim is to educate you, inform you, and encourage you to live your best life. Through this show, we're reaching lives, we're telling stories, we're coming up with various things so that we're able to inspire everybody from different places and at different times. Again, welcome to the Aidoo show. Please make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Aidoo and subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Aidoo show. I've decided that before we start the show every time, I want to come with a poem. And today's poem, I loved it when I saw it, is by Patricia Fleming. It says, "My personal quests. For most of my life, I've been on a quest to discover just who I might be, earnestly searching day after day, so desperate to recognize me. I felt moments of utter fulfillment and moments I couldn't go on. But I knew for the sake of my heart and soul to succeed, I would have to be strong. But the people around me seemed so lost themselves that I feared I might be on my own. But then there'd be someone who would reach out and help and remind me I wasn't alone. I wanted so much to be happy, to know what it was to feel peace. And I thought, if I finally felt sure of myself, the pain and the struggles would cease. But I've learned that this journey is endless. The discoveries are fresh every day. And no matter how much I might know of myself, there'll be times I will still lose my way. As I've grown older, I truly believe I may never know all I can be, but the answers are not waiting out in the world, but have always laid inside me. We're all on this quest to discover ourselves together, but through our own ways, overcoming whatever might get in our paths so we can feel better someday. But always remember not to stray far from what matters and what's really true. In this life, you don't have to be perfect. In the end, you just have to be you. Oh, I love this poem, My Personal Quest. And the reason why I chose this poem is because of my guest, who has been on an amazing quest and is living the life that she has dreamed about. As the poem said, not everything is perfect, but if there's one thing I know with my next guest, because we've known each other for so long, is that she doesn't let go of her quest to be who she is and to affect humanity positively. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mama Agbelenyo the First, Miss Sylvia Morrison. Hello, Miss Sylvia.
Hello, sis. Hi, how are you today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very well. It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me to be here today.
And it's good to have you, Miss Sylvia. It's so good to have you.
It's nice and warm in Ghana.
Awesome.
I wish you could feel some of it. So I hope I can send some of that through the screen to your audience so that they can feel even just a little bit of it, because I know it is cold where you are.
Oh my goodness, is it cold? Cold.
Enjoy.
Anyway, without further ado, I would like you to please tell us a bit about yourself.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, I won't give the book version because it would be, the show would end and I'm still talking. So I I am Sylvia Morrison. I was born and raised in the beautiful island of Jamaica. I am the eighth of 10 children of my mother's. And I am the mother of two beautiful young adults living in the GTA in Ontario. Um, I've been an educator all my life since I was 23 years old, and I am much, much older than 23 now, even though you don't see it. Um,
Yes.
I'm an empowerment specialist, and I am the director of Links Across Borders. My career as an educator spanned from elementary school through high school and then to college. And I recently, well, just over a year ago, decided to leave um, teaching in the classroom to taking on the road and to the whole world my my coaching practice. My focus, though, as in this work, also is as director of Links Across Borders, to really live the dream that has been in my heart since I was a child, and to
Mm-hmm.
give to other little girls who look like I looked when I was growing up, what I know, the spark. Just help
Right.
them to find that spark. Yes. Mhm. That's a bit
Awesome.
about who I am.
Awesome. You know, how did you find the
Thank
poem?
you. The poem I found really, I even wrote down one line of it. It's a great poem.
Mm-hmm.
We are all on this quest to discover ourselves. We are all on this quest to discover ourselves. And for me, I really think that the discovering of ourselves doesn't happen in one moment. And in fact, it doesn't even stop happening. It is something
Mm.
that continues to happen. Yes, we discover ourselves more and more. So the journey of discovering is a very exciting and dynamic one, because
Yeah.
we are on an exploration. That's how I see it.
Mm.
So I'm excited about discovering myself, and
Awesome.
each time I discover something new, yes, it feels great, and I'm blown away, and yes,
And you
I
get
like
chills.
I get chills sometimes. Sometimes I get afraid. Sometimes I feel like I'm in love with it. Other times I want to run away from it. Sometimes I want to scream for help. You know,
Yeah.
it's exciting.
Yeah.
It really is. Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
viewers and Miss Sylvia, give me just 1 second.
Yes.
I'm back.
She forgot something. She's back. Welcome back, Anna.
Thank you. So, I like the way you said each time you discover something, you get afraid, you get excited, you get goosebumps. That's the human in you. Sometimes when
Absolutely.
you're on this quest, people see you as this very strong person. So tell me a bit
Yes.
more about that side
Yes.
of you that gets excited and gets afraid and still keep moving forward.
Yes. Okay. So I'll tell you about the most recent, because right now here I am in Ghana, and only just over a year ago I was firmly planted and grounded in Brampton, Ontario. And so here I am now. And folks, yes, loving my life. I love teaching, loved the college, loved where I lived, loved my house, my backyard, everything. And it might seem to some like all in a sudden, I pulled up and said, I'm going to Ghana. And I confidently would say to folks, yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this, I'm selling the house, I'm da 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 da, and I can reel it off like that. But I'm taking the steps to do this, to get here and be here. And I arrive, and I could tell based on the way that I was acting, the way I would feel in certain spaces and in conversations, as I am doing certain things that I'm here to do, I could feel that I am not myself. I'm not
Mm.
myself. I am feeling, what the heck did I do? How could I pick up myself? How could I just pick up myself and drop here? It feels like I got to the top of the mountain and it was time to jump, and I jumped and I
Mm.
landed and I'm screaming, no.
Because, you know,
Yeah.
every time you and I spoke, because we speak quite often, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm watching you.
Yeah.
And you're like, I put my house in the market. My
Yeah.
house sold. Da da
Yes.
da da da. And Sylvia, you're
Yes.
gone. I'm like, okay, I'm with you in spirit. And honestly,
Yes.
when I look at you, as I've said to you many times over the years, when I look at you, I know that your work is not of you, but of the ancestors and of the spirit.
That's
I've
right.
always told
Yes.
you that. Why do
Mhm.
I say that? Because there are many people who would like to just get up and leave, many people who would like to just uproot themselves, right?
Yes.
But
Hmm.
many things hold them back, but not you. But before we lose ourselves, before we get too much ahead of ourselves, tell me a bit about links across
Yeah.
borders, because that is where all this began.
Yes. So, Links Across Borders is a nonprofit organization that I founded in 2009. But Links
Mhm.
Across Borders existed in me before it was founded publicly,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So,
yes.
Links Across Borders actually started. I was visiting with a Ghanaian friend of mine, and it was around Christmas time. We were very close to Christmas time there in Toronto. And I asked her, or she asked me first, if I'm finished my Christmas shopping, and I said, um, I wasn't Christmas shopping. And she was surprised about that. And then I asked her, well, are you Christmas shopping? And she said, no, I'm here alone. I don't have a family here. So I just send some money home to my mom, and I want her to make a Christmas party for children in my village. That's what she said, my Ghanaian friend. And I thought, oh, well, I could probably help with that. So I gave
Mm.
her some money and said, add this to yours, and so your mother can make a bigger party for the children. And she said, okay. Short of the story is, she took the money, she sent it home to her mother. Her mother made the party. And February of the following year, I got, I saw pictures. I went to visit, or she was visiting with me. She showed me pictures. And I was moved that the little bit of money, I thought, she said it was $75 I gave her, that it helped to make so many people, so many children have a great time. And I felt good about it. And as we were
Mhm.
talking more about the children, she told me that many of those children are not going to school. Now that hit me like a ton of bricks, because I just felt like, so I just helped them. I'm excited that I helped them to have a Christmas party. But if they're not going to school, then something is really wrong with this, right? Because they're not going to have an education. You know what not going to school means. I don't have to go into that.
Exactly.
Fast forward, fast forward 3 years later, I just, I was at a point in my life, I woke up one morning and Spirit said, this is the year to go to Africa. So I started telling people I'm going. And within a matter of months, I was packing to leave for Ghana. So I came to Ghana in 2006. And when I arrived here, my plan when I was coming was that I'm going to visit the children that I am supporting for school, because I started paying school fees for 6 children. And
Mm,
so I decided I'm going to visit those children. I'm going to take them, toys and clothes and school supplies, that sort of thing. And I came, and yes, I brought lots of things from friends of mine and myself, and I was happy to give. I felt like Oprah, you get a backpack, you get some clothes, you get this, you get that. I'm like, I'm feeling like Oprah. So, except that I wasn't saying you get a car. So
it's
I
amazing where
noticed.
our children. I,
Say that I didn't. I missed some of what you just said.
I said it's amazing where our inspiration comes from sometimes.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I noticed though, while I was here, I'm getting back to the story, Links Across Borders, where was it born? I noticed that every time I would visit another village during the time I was here, I spent a month that first time. And every time I would visit a different place or I would see children, I am expecting to see a child or children sitting under a tree somewhere reading a book. I just thought I want to see children reading. And
Hmm.
so that image kept coming, reoccurring in my mind, but I wasn't seeing it on the ground. And so I went back, I returned to Canada thinking, I'd love to see children reading. I loved the children there, but nobody's reading. They don't have books. And so the
Mm.
idea of returning and bringing books and helping out in classrooms and so on was very present with me. And so 3 years later, I decided, a friend of mine said, why don't you form an organization and do that in a formal way? So I
Okay.
kept coming every year from 2006, every single year. But in 2009 was when I founded the organization. And what we do is Links Across Borders co-creates libraries here in Ghana with communities. And to date, we have completed 8 libraries and we've supported many schools with resources, educational resources, that sort of thing. We run reading
Okay.
campaigns and so
For a moment.
on. Yes, you better pause
So
me.
you could have gone and just given
Yes,
food.
yes.
You could have
Mm,
gone and just given
mm,
clothes.
yes,
You could have
mm,
gone and just given shoes.
yes.
To some people, that would have been enough.
Mm,
But you
mm,
chose education.
yes.
Why?
Why? I grew up in Jamaica. I grew up in Jamaica. We don't call them villages. We say district. So I grew up in a small district in Jamaica, which is like a village here in Ghana. And in my district, there were some people of affluence in terms of having money, and there were people who were poor. And some of us knew that we were poor, and others of us didn't know that we were poor. But I noticed as a child, especially in a big family like I was, that there was always the question in my mind, what can I do so that my life will be different than most of what I see around me?
Mm,
And how I would get to escape, not that there was violence that I needed to escape, but how I would get to motivate myself or think, imagine of something different than I was living in was the library. I used to
mm,
go to the library. There was a woman in my district named Miss Hilda. God rest her soul in peace. That woman would be, I don't know if she was getting paid, but
mm,
she would go to the library I think 5 days a week. And as soon as she would walk past my house to go to the library, I would be behind her. And she would open the library for about 2 hours in the evening. I would spend those 2 hours in the library reading. And when it's time to leave, other people would come and go. I stayed. And when it was time to leave, when she's now going to close the library, I would take 2 books. I would read
Mhm.
them and I would bring and I could return them the following week. The other thing is that for a girl like me who grew up in Jamaica, education for us in Jamaica was a big deal. You could be
Mhm.
very, very poor, but your parents say you must go to school. And there were
Mhm.
times when I could go to school with no lunch money or very little. In fact, there were times when I would go to school. There was a certain candy that was called icy mint. It was a candy called icy mint.
Mhm.
That candy I would use 10 cents, Jamaican 10 cent, and I could buy a dozen of those. There were some
Mhm.
times I would go to school, I would use 10 cents to buy a dozen of those. I would suck on the icy mint and drink water. When you do that, you feel
Stop.
full.
Stop.
Yes,
You loaded up on sugar to survive.
it's peppermint.
And
It was peppermint. Yes,
Pep-
peppermint. Peppermint. It
Sylvia,
was minty.
you
Mm-hmm.
have been wise since you are a child.
Yes,
You
yes,
have been
yes.
wise since you're a child. So tell us more because you see, I want people to understand the power of education,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, how far it can take us and how we can be stopped if we don't have the basics.
That's right. That's
That
right.
is why I'm asking why education. So you have worked very hard, and I've seen you on weekends here loading trailers, collecting books, this and that.
Yes.
And as you're doing that, what picture are you seeing?
The picture in my mind is the children are reading. I'm seeing poor children who don't, some of them don't even have a TV in their house. Maybe some of them are better off without it anyway. They
Mm,
don't have books at home.
mm,
They are wondering what is the world like outside of their little four corners. Huh?
mhm.
And books I see as something that opens up the world to this child who is now reading. Because for me, as a child growing up, I traveled the world through books. I
Mm.
used to write stories, especially when you go back to school after the long summer holidays. I would go back, a teacher would ask you to write an essay about your holidays or your vacation, your summer vacation. I would return and write a story. It was something I read about. But there were times I got so involved in it
Mm.
that it became mine. And I would write a beautiful essay about that. But that wasn't really my life in reality. That
Mm.
was the life I was dreaming about or the life I had visited through some books. I want
Okay.
that for children.
I want
Yes.
that. I like that. And then the thing is, as you saw, would you say that you saw those children in your own childhood?
Yes.
Would you say that you saw the joy you got from reading in their hearts and in their minds? Would you say
Absolutely.
that? Yes.
Absolutely. What reading did for me, I want it to do for children here in Ghana. When I came here the first time and the little girls looked like me, I was looking at them running, jumping, giggling,
Mm-hmm.
playing ampy or whatever else they're playing. And that was me. That was me.
Mm.
I'm looking at the girl, me. And so I want them, and I still do. Honestly, to this day, I still feel that. I want them to
Mm.
have that. I know what that did for me. You see, I want them to have that. I remember, Anna, when I was in, I think I was in grade 6 or grade 5 at the time, when a visitor from the United States came to my school in Trelawney. Came to my school, and my teacher said to us, class, we have a visitor. This is Dr. Robinson. I still remember his name. I know he has transitioned by now, but I have never forgotten that man's face. Dr. Robinson is here to visit us, and he wants to say something to you. And Dr. Robinson stepped forward and he spoke. And he said what he wanted us to do as the class. We should write an essay. And the title of the essay is The Value of Education. He said the child who wrote the best essay would win a prize. I decided in that moment, I am winning the prize. I don't care what the prize is. I'm winning it.
Yes.
He's talking about writing an essay. I'm getting it. Yeah. And
End of
2
story.
weeks later, end of story. 2 weeks later, after we had written the essay and handed it to our teacher, and our teacher passed them on to Dr. Robinson, he returned to my class, and now he's going to read the winning essay and he's going to give the prize. And I'm sitting there and he's reading the essay, and I'm thinking, it sounds like mine, but is it mine? I'm listening. Did I write that word in mine that, Short of that story is I won the prize. You want to know what the prize was?
What?
$1.
Straight up.
Straight up. $1. I tell you what, though, $1. That I cannot tell you if I use that dollar to buy lunch the next day, or if I gave it to my mother, or if I lost it. I don't know what I did with it. But what I can tell you is that when I received the prize for writing that essay from Dr. Robinson, that changed my life. How? It confirmed for me that I was brilliant. My confidence grew immensely. I felt tall, strong, beautiful, brilliant, bold. I was walking now on air. I want that for children.
I'm feeling what you were feeling then. I'm feeling what you were feeling then. And that brings me to the impact people can have on our lives.
Yes.
When they do little things to encourage us.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But before we go any further, when you decided to make the change, being born and raised in Jamaica,
yes,
why did you pick Ghana instead of Jamaica? But viewers and Miss Sylvia, give me just another 1 second.
Okay.
Yes, I'm back.
You're back. Why did I pick Ghana, you ask?
Yes, instead of Jamaica.
Instead of Jamaica. Well, you see, I'll answer the question. Why I picked Ghana instead of Jamaica. Ghana picked me. I've never lost Jamaica. I have Jamaica always, and Jamaica has me. I was born and raised there. I am a Jamaican. It is in my blood. Yes? Ghana picked me. When I first came to Toronto and started, to kind of try to find my way out, to leave from under my sister's wings, because I had come to visit with my sister. So I'm now launching out, trying to find my own way, create my own identity, and so on. The first community that I noticed I felt attracted to was the Ghanaian community. I was bumping into Ghanaian people in every place. There were Ghanaians at work, Ghanaians at school, Ghanaians at church, Ghanaians in the store, right? And
everywhere you go, Ghana.
Ghana. That's right. And there was a kind of, I think at the beginning, there was a kind of romanticism in my mind because they're from Africa, right? They're from Africa. But there is a certain way of being that I admired about the Ghanaian. There was the talk. I would sit and listen to. I'm there in their presence. Ghanaians are not speaking English with me. Oh. They're talking around me. Nobody is saying a word of English. But what I noticed about myself is that I would sit there. You're all talking. I'm saying you are because you are a Ghanaian. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I just feel like I'm being bathed, like I'm being baptized or something. So I never complained that why don't they speak English so that I can understand what they're saying? If they turn to me and say, "What do you think?" then I say, "I don't have a thought because I don't know what you were saying all along." you know. So I liked just the company and the sound. The other thing that I really liked, oh my gosh, the Ghanaian parties.
Mm.
Oh
COVID
Lord, have
be
mercy.
gone. COVID be gone.
Please, gone. I would go to Ghanaian parties. I would get on the dance floor. Remember now, I'm not from Ghana. You all have certain ways of dancing to certain songs. I don't know the song, I don't know what it is saying, but I would watch the way the women move and I would catch it
Mm.
fast and I would start doing it and I am feeling good. And I would stay on the dance floor. Yes, until
Yes.
whoever I went with said, "Okay, let us go now." And
I
I was
remember,
stretching.
remember the last party we were at?
Yeah. Yes, it's a
Yeah.
stretch for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved that, right? So I felt that there was kind of, I felt like kindred spirits, with
Mm.
the guy. And then, so when Spirit said to me in 2006, this is the year to go to Africa, which had been a childhood dream of mine growing up in Jamaica. I always wanted to go to Africa. I mean, lots of people want to go to Africa, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but that year in 2006, when Spirit said, "This is the year to go," I I thought, where? But I didn't make a decision until the first person I spoke with, and I said to them, "Oh, I'm going to Africa this year." And they said, "Oh, where? Where in Africa?" And I said, I had to pick a place. The only place I could pick was Ghana. So I said Ghana.
Mm.
I said Ghana.
See, Ghana never left you. Ghana never left you, Sylvia.
At all. At all. So
Ghana
I
has
said
had
Ghana.
hold on you before you were born.
Exactly. That's the thing. So I
Mm.
sometimes say to people, Ghana had a hook in my craw, and I couldn't get
Oh,
away.
had a hook in your
A
bra.
hook
Mm,
in
mm.
my oh, my craw,
Your bra.
my craw, not my bra.
Anyway, there's this
Yes,
there's this
yes,
song goes
yes.
Ghana, Land of Freedom. I don't know how
Uh-huh.
to sing the whole thing, but it's a nice song. But anyway,
Yes.
so
Uh-huh.
even as you picked Ghana,
Yes.
you're
I,
in the village
I am
of Toze. Am I correct?
Toje, yes. Yes. I'm
Toje.
in Toje. Toje,
Toje.
yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
now I know I visited you in Mississauga one time.
Yes.
Then you were
Yes.
in Brampton. Then you're a
Yes.
professor. Then both
Yes.
your kids are here.
Yes.
Then you went to Toje. How did that
Yes.
happen?
So in 2013, after I'd been coming to Ghana for like every year consecutively since 2006, I decided in 2012, um, based on what I felt in my heart, that it was time to do something more than coming and bringing school supplies and helping out here and there in a different village, that I should do something um, more than paying for 6 children's school fee. I should do something where more children whom I have not met could themselves choose to participate in an opportunity that I would bring them. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know exactly what that was, but I started to just be open to the ideas that would show up. And I had a couple of conversations, and specifically with one person who was a member of an organization that was a Ghanaian organization that was building schools. They would, fundraise or bring volunteers in, and they had some funders abroad, and they would build school, 3 classroom blocks or that sort of thing. And we were chatting one day, and he said to me, "So if you were to collaborate with us, what would you bring on board? We are already building schools." Because I said, my interest is education. And out of my mouth, I heard, I would build libraries. No, I'd never said that before, and I hadn't given that any thought. But remember, when I came in 2006, I said I would notice that there was an image in my mind that I was missing. Children reading books under a
Mm-hmm.
tree or wherever. I hadn't specifically thought about a library, but in that conversation, I heard myself say, "I will build libraries." He said, "Okay, great. That's a good idea." And
Mm-hmm.
that's how that came about. The following, in 2013, I am in my classroom at the college, and I am, this was the first day of the semester, and I am doing what I call a check in with my students. And so the question I asked, just to get each of us to introduce ourselves and say a bit, I said, "Say your name and a little bit about you, and then answer this question. What would you do if you won $1 million?" And
Mm.
I said, it doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have to be real. It can be fantasy. You can just make it up right now. Even if it's not something you would ever do, you can say it. And
Mm-hmm.
so around the classroom, we all said. And then when my turn came, I also am answering the question, even though I am the professor, but I'm answering the question. And I said to them, what I would do, and part of it would go towards my project in Ghana. And because I I am building libraries in Ghana and supporting children's education, and so
Mm-hmm.
some of the money would go to that. After we were finished that um, answering those questions, one of the students said to me, "Miss, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yes." She said, um, "What you talked about doing in Ghana, your project in Ghana, is that fantasy or is it real?" And I said, "No, that is real. It's not fantasy." And she said, "Oh, that is so cool. I would love to do that. Can I come with you?" Hmm. I heard myself respond to that question, "Can I come with you?" I said, "Sure, because I am offering an international placement to students this year."
Mm.
Jesus. It came out of my mouth.
I love the way you said it came out of my mouth. It was
Yes, it
as
came
if
out.
Spirit said, I'm going and you're the one that's going to do this. Would you agree? I mean,
I
I always
agree.
listen to you, and over the years, I always say to you, Sylvia, you're not you. You're something else. You're some kind of spirit walking the earth. So, would you say that I often hear you say, I heard the words coming out of my mouth, right?
Yes,
I
yes,
heard the
it's
word
true.
coming out of my mouth, which
Mhm,
means
mhm.
spirit was like, listen, you're not even going to answer that question. And that student, we've already connected with that student to follow you. Would you agree?
Yes, completely. Because when I said that to her, I noticed my brain went straight to, you have no idea how to do this. You have no plans. You haven't asked permission. This is not your private school. Huh? There's a big hierarchy that you have to go through. And you just opened your mouth and said this to so many people. So I'm trying to pull it back, like, come back, come back, come back, come back. And the student is running with it. The student asked next question. How do I get to register? I said to the student, prepare your resume and send it to me.
Looking like the master of this fate that is chasing
That's
you.
right.
But
Like I know. Yes.
one of the things I truly admire you, because you see, you come from a place of authenticity. That is what I admire about you. If many of us could go to our authentic self, if many of us could just simply go to that authentic place, we would be able to live the passion that has been placed in our hearts and in our minds, right? So right now, you're on the ground in Ghana.
Yes.
Tell me how that feels. Because when I think about you, I pray for you, because I know this work is hard. I pray for you. I smile with you. I dance with you. Sometimes I'm very tired with you. So tell us what it feels like.
Listen, it's, you know, it is kind of, I don't know how to describe how, in the midst of the reality of being on the ground and dealing with the heat and dealing with the noise and dealing with it's in a way strange to me that I am always feeling fabulous. I am feeling like it is a Christmas, like I won the prize that everybody was trying to get. Like everybody was going after this prize and I got it. And I'm thinking, how come they don't know that this is how to find it? I'm like, because it's not, I mean, I show up online and folks say, she seems like she's always just having a ball, or life is just so easy.
Mm.
The reason it looks like that is because I am exactly where I want to be. I'm doing what I want to do.
Mm.
I see the difference that I am making every single day. So when something happens that is challenging, that, you know, irritates me in a moment, and I notice my irritation, and something comes to my mind, my thinking brain, my analytical mind, and say, why did you do this? The answer that comes, because there is nothing better that I would want to do. That's it.
Ooh, hold it there. Hold it. You know,
Yeah.
you have gone deep into spirit, right? To
Mm-hmm.
the point where even when the negative come, you see
Yes.
it as another little annoyance along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get up in the morning and
Yes.
the chickens do what they do, and the children do
Exactly.
what they do, and the mothers do
That's right.
what they do, and you're seeing yourself in
Yes.
all of this, tell me,
Yes.
because right now I'm feeling like I'm right there with you. Tell me how that feels when you wake up in the morning. Because you know what, Sylvia? This conversation is only beginning. Tell
It's
me.
only beginning. It's true. It's true.
It's only
Now,
beginning. It's like, whoo.
you know, I still wake up after my morning meditation and that sort of my success practices, my connection to spirit and my giving gratitude and so on. I do not come out of my room or open the doors of the house right away. I like to stay inside and listen to the
Mm.
women sweeping. They're sweeping the yard. Their
Mhm.
conversations with each other, calling out to each other. The rooster, you probably just heard one.
I just heard
The
one.
You just heard one. The animals doing their thing, the various sounds, the birds right at my window, singing and calling out to each other. All of the sounds around. I, I, I ask myself, I get to have this every day. Every day. I had been dreaming about this as a child. You
Oh,
know,
don't make me cry now. Don't make me cry. Because you see, when living your purpose, when living what you know that this is what you were made for, you feel carried to a different place altogether. But before I
absolutely.
forget, now that you're on the ground there in Ghana,
Yes.
tell me the difference between Jamaica and Ghana. Tell me
Oh my
the
gosh.
similarities and the differences.
Okay. I can only touch on a few. And
Mhm,
I must also say that, as you know, Ghana is very diverse.
mhm,
Diverse based on different ethnicities, different languages, right? Many people don't know that. So, whatever I'm going to say in terms of differences and similarities is kind of general, but it is not true for every place, right? I'm
okay.
just talking about my experience. Yes.
Mhm,
So, resemblance. Resemblance in terms of physical space and also
mhm,
people. There are places that I go and somebody thinks this is where I'm from, or I am so and so's relative. And
mm,
yes, and I also go to places where I see people who I say, that one looks exactly like my father, that one looks like my brother, this woman here is my sister. Somebody has the same laugh, or somebody, so I see that in people. We
mhm,
are kindred spirits, and we're relatives, right?
mhm.
Then there is we are generous people. Ghanaians are
Mhm.
generous, and
Yes.
Jamaicans are generous. We share food. We like to give each other food.
Mhm. Without even
Yes.
thinking about it.
No, no, and you shouldn't be saying you don't want to eat, huh?
Hey, I
How
think,
could you?
why?
Why
You should eat, oh.
eat? Right? So it's almost like you're being forced to eat. We love
Yes.
to share food. Yes, community is another thing.
Community.
Community. I mean, it's different in the city. It's different in the city here in Ghana. It's different in the city also in Jamaica. And as both nations evolve and the Western influences, it's changing. But
Mhm.
in the village, in the villages, I see community in the way that I grew up in Jamaica, in my district,
Awesome.
where we had community. Women were looking after each other's children. You don't know here. In fact, I still don't know, even in this village where I live, I still don't know whose mother is somebody, because the children just belong to everybody. So it's
Nice.
little by yes, it's little
That
by little I'm finding out who is whose
wow.
mother.
Mm. That
Yes,
is such that is such I find it very deep in the sense that then there's a sense of belonging, no matter who leaves or who passes away,
absolutely,
in the sense
absolutely.
that
That's right.
every child belongs to every mother and every woman.
Yes.
The funny
Mhm.
thing about it is, these people are not rich,
No,
but like you said, we're sharing the little that we have.
that we. That's
So
right. Yes.
now that you're there, the
Yes.
journey has begun, you're on
Mhm.
the ground.
Yes.
What is the biggest purpose? I know you have already
Mm.
lived a lot of the purpose, but what, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
what does your heart desire the most?
What my I desire for in terms of the impact that I will make here in Ghana, my desire is to see children, especially from villages, grow up in a space where they recognize and they know that they are as good as anyone else. Yes? They know that coming from the village does not make them any less than someone else. I also want to, as I said earlier about books, open the world for every child. And they don't have to leave their village to experience that, because books
Ah,
can do that for you. The other thing is that for me, I believe that every person came to earth because there is a special thing that spirit wants to do and cannot do it without a human body, right?
mm-hmm,
And so
mm-hmm,
my body was chosen, my brain, my body, me, my laugh, my face, to impact community in a way of especially empowering them from the mind, around mindset. And I do that through libraries. I do that through the Reading Club. I do that through the We Shine program. And I want, long after I am gone, or long
mm,
before I am gone, that I am seeing leaders who may not have even really met me,
mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
library that I created was a place that they found that the world was open to them, that their mind was opened to dream, to be inspired, to be motivated, and to find themselves, to be able to imagine and create from that
Yeah.
space.
And some
And that,
young today at
mhm,
6 something can say, a woman crossed my path.
mhm,
Name was Mama Agbelenyo. A woman crossed my path whose name
yes,
was Sylvia
mhm,
Morrison. And
mhm,
because she built the library, because she gave
yes,
me a book, because through
mhm,
her I found education, today I'm standing strong. Mama
absolutely.
Agbelenyo, I have you in my prayers.
Thank
This
you.
is just the beginning because there's so much about you that needs to be heard and seen that we will have to work something out so that we continue. Sometimes
Yes,
maybe bring some of the kids on, sometimes,
yes,
but I pray for the spirits like they've done with you to continue to bless you, to continue to fill you with their message, and to continue to give you all the resources that you need because the work you're doing is not easy, it's expensive. And so I pray that we get all the resources that we need, that we all come together.
internet is doing something wrong.
Yeah, that we all come together to support the work that you do. What is the
Thank
last thing you would like to say to me and everybody that is listening?
I'd like to say thank you to you. I really mean that. Thanks for the opportunity to share on this platform with your audience. I really appreciate it. I also want to say, especially to my Ghanaian sisters and brothers who are there, who really, who you're thinking about, can I come home? Should I? Take a step. Take a step. And in fact, I'd be happy to have conversations with folks. There are others also who've been dreaming about this idea, wondering about it. I'd be happy to share with you. I also would love if folks would get on board to support the work we're doing here in Ghana. The We Shine program, really, we're looking for sponsors for that. And if folks are interested, they could connect with me at me@sylviamorrison.com or at Links Across Borders, our website or Facebook page. Yes.
Tell us a bit about the We Shine program so that people can really understand what they are supporting, so they
The
know
We
exactly who to support it from.
the We Shine program is one that includes the reading club. But in addition to the reading club, I have added the adventure experience library. And what I do with that is I create experiences that are different than the books for children. We take them on excursions. We
Okay.
bring folks in to work with them, performing arts or visual arts. I'm working with them to write their own stories, right? So we go on experiences, then we take pictures. They get to write stories. I want them to know that they can be authors. Authors don't come from the sky. They're regular people who eat and go to the toilet. Illustrators, I say, yes. I say, you can draw, then that means you could be an illustrator. So we're looking at creating our own books from the experiences we're having. It also includes the Pen Pal Club, right? So it's a mix of different experiences and activities that the children get to do that broadens their horizon, right?
You
And
definitely
they get to
are on a
shine.
mission. You
Yes.
definitely are on a mission. I'm with
Thank
you.
you.
I pray that
Thank
listeners will support you. Find Sylvia on Facebook. Her email
Yes.
is me at Sylvia Morrison. What
Dot
is it?
com.
.com.
.com. Mm-hmm.
Links across borders. Google it. It'll come
Across
up.
borders. Yes.
And so,
Dot
Miss
org.
Sylvia,
Mm-hmm.
may
Yes.
the Spirit bless you. May the Spirit keep you. May the Spirit keep speaking through you. And may it speak through everybody with resources to come on board and make this work. Because as they say, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And a poor child only needs just a little bit of inspiration to
Mm.
become the best that they can be. So let's not forget that in our
Yes.
abundance, there are people out there who are struggling. Thank you, Miss Sylvia. And again, viewers, I'm Anna Aidoo.
Thank
This is the Anna Aidoo Show, and our guest today has been Miss Sylvia. I'm sure we're all hungry to hear more about the journey.
you.
And so we'll see what can be done with that. And so stay tuned as we say goodbye to Miss Sylvia. And let me read this poem again to back her quest to make a difference. It says, for most of
Mhm.
my life, I've been on a quest to discover just who I might be, earnestly searching day after day, so desperate to recognize me. I felt
Mm.
moments of utter fulfillment and moments I couldn't go on. But I knew for the sake of my heart and soul to succeed, I would have to be strong. But the people around me seemed so lost themselves that I feared I might be on my own. But then there'd be someone who would reach out and help and remind me I wasn't alone. I've wanted to be so happy to know what it was to feel peace. And I
Mm.
thought, if I finally felt sure of myself, then the pain and struggles would cease. But I've learned that this journey is endless. The discoveries are fresh every day. And no matter how much I might know of myself, there'll be times I will still lose my way. And as I've grown older, I truly believe I may never know all I can be, but the answers are not waiting in the world, but have always laid right inside me. We're all on this quest to discover ourselves together, but through our own ways,
Yes.
overcoming whatever might get in our paths so we can feel better someday. but always remember not to stray far from what matters and what's really true. In this life, you don't have to be perfect. In the end, you just have to be you. Thank you, everyone. And Miss Sylvia, stay blessed and we will
Thank you.
talk soon. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.